Okay, so it's 3:33. It's so trippy because the more you practice, the more you see how psychic you are. Like it's crazy. It's, there's so many things. My stomach's already growling like crazy, so it's growling like crazy. These parasites are like, damn you. The what was I gonna say? Damn it. The parasites interrupted me, and I was saying something about, oh yeah, being psychic, but I knew what the time was without even looking at it. And then when I looked, and I was right. And it's weird because I still have these same numbers I'll see every day. It's like these numbers come out to greet me daily. And it is, and there's like messages with the numbers and stuff. Like there's communication all the time. Like I swear to God, people, and it is so hard because no matter what the stuff that I see or hear, I see it's so expansive. There's so many levels. And so it's hard to say everything because it's so much. And so it's like you're only taking bits of things. And that's where the people have to learn to rely on themselves. They got to learn how to connect with that part of themselves, that higher state of consciousness. And because then you just will see so much more. And but it's like beyond my ability in the language to express what I see on all of the levels. It's like super complex. It's like looking at a spider web of and everything is everything is connected and stuff, but everything is so different than what we think it is. I gotta sit back more, so I gotta move this. The bath thing worked for like a day, but all of the aches and pains are starting to come back. And I think one of the problems too, all of the toxins and shit that we're breathing in. I just saw a girl doing a video, and she's having the same symptoms as I am. And this could be a part of the thing about the environment and local, and a part of it. I've said the whole time, it was so weird how all of a sudden they came in and started putting in this neighborhood attached to our neighborhood. Not just a couple houses, the whole goddamn fucking thing. They're blowing shit up, tearing down the forest, putting in roads and shit. And whatever is in the soil, whatever is... But this woman, so she's having all these same symptoms as me. And she said they're drilling right next to her house. So she put it together, and she realized they were drilling for lithium. And she went out there and she was videoing it. And she was trying to make sure it was going viral, as other people are sharing it now. So you should be able to see it. But she goes and confronts the drillers and asks what they're drilling. They don't even fucking know anything about shit. And she is telling them, we're all going to die. This is poison. And I'm so sick. Her eyes are all swollen too. She said it's so, her eyes are real puffed, and she has to keep rubbing them till her eyelashes have all come out. And she's got so much mucus, and I don't remember all the stuff. But anyways, I was like, that is the same thing. And the throat thing too, I swear to God, I feel like I'm breathing in some sort of toxic gas all the time. And then yesterday, I went outside I went to the grocery store, got so much stuff. I had a really good day. I was really busy. But I know when I was outside, it was raining, and then it stopped. But I remember being outside breathing and thinking, like, this fucking shit with this, what the hell am I breathing in now? Because it has a smell. There's a smell. And then you get these burning throat stuff. So And someone in the comments said something about, well, if they don't drill it out of the ground, they're spraying it on us anyways. And, you know, I have the same symptoms. And so, you know, all that's what I'm saying is that they're getting it. All different people are all getting all different things, but we're all getting the same kind of sicknesses. And it's all, you know, environmental and toxics and toxins and stuff, because that's how our body reacts to things that aren't supposed to be there. And when it's not natural and not organic, it's unnatural and it's artificial. It's like our bodies reject it. And so that is how they can attack it, is with this artificial. And then with the frequency too, because that is that interferes with a lot of things. It interferes with how you think. It interferes with, I mean, it all depends on each person. They interfere with every bit of part of you. They can fucking communicate in your head, like all sorts of shit. So they do that too. And then so, oh my gosh, I've got so many things open. It's like you just look down at your desk and you got like 15 open files that are full sitting there. It's like, fuck. Oh, where do you begin? Okay, so, okay, so one of the things I saw this morning, I'll just start with that, because I saw some really interesting videos this morning. Number long. It probably were, probably more people are finding like Gaia channel and stuff and finding all of the information and stuff, because it seemed like it was like they were sharing a clip off a show that would have been on there. But it was something about the quantum world and stuff. And so when I'll hear this stuff, it's just like the expansion that's going in my mind of seeing. And that's why you got to open your mind as much as you can and fill it with more information that you feel comfortable with. Like, you can't fill your mind with things you're not comfortable with. It has to resonate. It has to be in resonance with your vibration, your understanding. So you can't push yourself into trying to understand something you don't understand. You just have it naturally develop. So but the more you seek, the more you're a seeker, the more you're trying to understand, the more questions you ask. That is your consciousness. Oh, that's what it was that got me on the start thing, was your consciousness is like this little ball, and you know, it'll stay that size if that's all you do is close your eyes, go to sleep, wake up, you know, it will just stay small. But the more that you expand it, the more it expands. So the more information you give it, the more books you read, the more experiences you have, the more mistakes you make, the more that you experience, the more your consciousness opens and evolves. And so at this time in our human experience, we're taking in this consciousness to the level of expansion and control. We are learning how to control our energy on a bigger form, a bigger format. And that is this ascension is, and that is why it's like steps. It goes through steps, and you have to take your own steps. You don't jump around and take other people's steps and stuff. Your steps, your plan is important. That's why you're always checking in with yourself in your own communication. So you're always on your track. Like I just have to say, like, as I think it's so strange, like when I sit here and I talk about healing and learning how to, you know, don't hold your diagnosis and think like something's wrong with you. Don't think you're broken and all that, you know, about you can heal yourself. You can figure out what's wrong with you and you can heal it. You're not broken at all. You just need some work. You need some tender loving care. You need some tending to, which I've decided I think I've got Tourette's, some sort of Tourette's syndrome or something. Because every time I say some word, I've got to say it in like 50 different ways, and I've got to make different faces. Just, I don't know. I've lost my fucking shit. Like, I'm like going crazy. I was like, oh my God. I don't know. Maybe this is what I was like when I was a child. I don't know. Before people were telling me, oh my God, you're so weird. Now it's like, okay, I'm so weird. you know, so is everybody else. Everybody else just tries to pretend like they're not. At least I'm comfortable with it. So, oh yeah, 'cause one of the things, okay, I got too many open things. The coughing, because whenever I cough and it moves all this stuff around, it only just goes up, you know. And I don't want to sit there and do that whole gagging thing. Like, that has always grossed me out when I see people doing that, trying to gag up this fucking snot that comes up in your throat. And to me, it's just like still like in the throat, just go down to my stomach, go out the other way. But now I'm thinking that it's that the whatever I'm breathing in, whatever the toxin, whatever the neobot, whatever the fucking space dust bullshit thing that I'm breathing in is now it's just reactivated in my stomach, is making me sick. So and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to start fucking trying to hawk up my fucking loogies or something. It's disgusting. So anyways, back to what doesn't make sense to me is, so I have certain things that I talk about, and it always trips me out. Like when people come in and will, like, I don't know. There's all different things. There's just all different things. And you can always tell. It's like, okay, have you even watched any of my videos, or are you just saying this? Because if you watch my videos, you would know, like, you're either telling me something that I already talk about, or you're telling me something, but I like when people are trying to say helpful things. Like, that's always nice. It is the other people who try and say negative things, or try and just like, it's like, what are you trying? I mean, what is the interaction you're looking for? Like, what do you want? And, but I just find it really strange, as if you keep trying to use your argument that you're not your emotions. Why are you coming and listening to me? All I'm doing is talking about how your emotions and becoming your best version of yourself. And then when people are telling me, you know, that we are our flesh and blood body, that our material life is the most important thing, it's like, I am so opposite of that. What? I don't understand why you're listening to me. That is what just blows my mind. It's like, why are you listening to what I have to say? It's completely not in alignment with what you are commenting. So it makes no sense to me. So anyways, I'm just not going to, at this point, you know, I've got enough stuff to do. I'm not, if people come in and say nice things, yeah, then I'm going to, you know, say thank you. But if people come in and just want to argue and just be confrontational, and I'm sorry that you're lonely. I'm sorry that you're bored. I'm sorry that you're sad, you know, but you're not your body. Go buy some things or something. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But there's somebody out there who's in alignment with you. Like, you can find people who are at your vibration. Just because I am not in resonance with you doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not going to spend time, you know, arguing or trying to convince or defend or any of this shit. That's the past. I'm out of that stuff. So, yeah, you know, anybody who wants to interact in a positive manner, yeah, hell yeah. But this other confrontational and bickering and bitter, and no, thank you. And you can put all your emojis you want, and it doesn't make it any sweeter. It's just as confrontational, and it has been the whole time. And I reached my limit. Sorry, I'm done. So, anyways, back to the sicknesses and stuff. So everybody's got all these same sicknesses all over the place. So it's all these different things just giving our bodies the same reaction. But inside we're having other complications. That is one of the things, and I've seen so much stuff about. I've seen so much stuff. Like, there's so much stuff that's coming out. So much stuff that I have said too. Kind of trips me out. Because, like, you know, I mean, this is the first time in my life I've ever done something like this and been looking ahead so much. and looking into what, and what I'm being shown and stuff. And so it's trippy. Like when you can see things and because when you're seeing it and stuff, like, I don't know. And so in this one thing too, so in this idea of you are this consciousness, and so you're energy, and so you are trying to understand who and what you are, and so you feel your energy. Just think about yourself as your energy, and think about yourself as just being, if you think about the energy of who you are when you're just the most excited, like if you haven't been excited in a long time, think about back, at a Christmas when you were so excited as a little kid, just the excitement, just that. If you've never felt that, just like that buzzing, your body's just buzzing with excitement. That is you. That is the you that you are. That buzz, that excitement, that happiness, that joy, that just thrill. That is you, what you are at your core, your essence of you. And so you imagine that just out there, just zapping around, just out in, because everything is just open space. Everything is just, it's just as it's like this ever expansive thing. Like, there's this really cool thing that happened to this guy I want to share. It was really cool, and it goes with this too. But you think about, like, you're this super excited energy, but you want to understand yourself. You want to try and figure out, like, well, what am I? And you can come in here and you can look like whatever you want. That isn't, you can, you can look like a tree, you can look like a flower, you can look like a bee, you can look like a bug, you can look like a bird, you can look like a person, you can look like an alien, you can look like a new creature, you can look like whatever the hell you want to look like. That's what you can look like. And so that is kind of established. And then it's kind of like we can all go in as like a group. Like, it's kind of like we can go into a group of like we can put all our minds together and create. And this was really what was getting me too in this little quantum talk thing. Had a bunch of people in it. You had David Wilcock, David Icke. It had some more, so I'm sure it had to be something off of Gaia channel on the quantum mechanics of who we are or something. But so I can never explain somebody else's stuff good. Like, you have to go in and watch this stuff. It's just very interesting. And when you go and you watch and you open your mind to these things, I'm telling you, you just get more information. Your mind is just constantly expanding. And it's like you're remembering all the time. You're remembering who you are. You're remembering this stuff. It's not like new information. It's like, this stuff. You just got to remember it. And so it's like this awakening. It's like breaking free from this controlled vision of who you are. And so as your mind is expanding, it is it just goes out more and more, like all the time. See how this stuff all goes together, like the honeycomb, the facets, all the realities, all the cells, all the souls, all of the concentrated focus. And then so you take all of these different energies. That's what I'm saying, is like, it's not like we're sitting down signing contracts. That's something that is created, but it is like, it's like our word. It is like, it is set. It's like when we go to have an experience together, it is it's like a combined experience, but it's like it's all written. I don't know how to, because it's like it's written. Man, it's fuck. That was hard. Some of the stuff is so hard to explain, because it's like trying to explain, well, a thought, a dream. Where did it come from? How did it get there? And so it's like, I mean, it's hard, it's hard to explain, because it's kind of like the same thing, it's like it's made, it's just, it's a creation, but it's like you can't change the creation. Once it's created, that's the fate and destiny, that's the ride. Once the dream is created, it's the created dream, so it's already going. And so okay, man, fuck. Okay, so, fuck. Okay, so if you have consciousness and it starts to awaken, starts to question more, of its reality, it's leveling up, it's taking the next step up. So then it becomes in control of. I think it's not like it changes destiny, because the ride is set, but then it evolves. Like, you go through the ride, but then you get to the point where you get off the ride and make your own ride. Like, see, it's hard to, man, this is a hard one, but it was so like fucking mind expanding when I was watching it. On this really important part where it was saying about, as this stuff is going on, like, and people are awakening, it's like we're questioning reality and stuff. So it's like popping off, like we're all this Mandela effect and stuff. It's like this is affecting reality as we all wake up. And then it's kind of, is it, our perspectives that make it where it's kind of interferes with not interferes, because the perspectives are important, but it is the confirmation. It is like the view you have to look through. So anyways, I have no idea what I'm talking about, so I have to okay, so anyways, it's hard to explain, because it is like, fuck, this is hard to explain. It's because it's like you have your own consciousness, your own thing, but then as people are waking, it's like this merging, this kind of merging of energies is kind of going, and it kind of is like it's going in different directions, which you can see. Like, you can see people's attitudes, you can see what people's different things. And so how it seemed like how they were saying, it's kind of like that we're all creating our own realities. So we are the creators of the reality. So as this is fracturing off, as we're waking up and we are fracturing out of that reality that we were in, which it was all different for all of us. It was all having different effects. Like, we were all having our own experiences, our own realities in always, to me, it's like a multiplex theater. And so there's lots of movies and lots of things going on. And so as this is going on, and people are choosing how they look at, like, they're creating their own reality. And this is where it's kind of like, fuck, is this is this where we kind of split off. We kind of all go our separate ways. Like the people who keep looking at the negative, you know, like we're going to go into Armageddon. We're going to go into, you know, all this horrible stuff. You know, are they going to create that because they're so focused on it? And so they're here to experience it. And so they're super focused on it, because my focus is so different. And so when I was listening to them and I was hearing like, oh my gosh, so I'm creating a reality by talking about this, by going on and spreading this, by talking about it and giving vision to it. I'm creating a reality. And you know, and this is where the written in stone comes from, because I'm not just magically doing this. This is written in stone. This reality was always going to be created. Like, I didn't just make that up. It's imprinted into me. So it's a part of my knowing. It's a part of my inner knowing. It's a part of, you know, that's why I said, it's like from the very beginning, it was like I was programmed to not be able to go off of, I've always had this certain drive or something. I don't know how to explain it, but it sure is, it makes sense to me, you know, so much of the time when things that have had, like it's like what I said, there's just so much, the puzzle of my life went together in 2020. So so as I talk about this reality and this creation of this new existence, which to me it already exists, because there's already people who, like on the QHHTs, which, you know, that's all quantum. And quantum healing, if you look up quantum healing, that is who I was going and doing those classes through for BHQ, but they've got so many practitioners of all different kinds of things. If you're looking for any kind of healing modalities and stuff, quantum healers, and they've been around for a long time. You know, they've been practicing for, you know, I don't know, because the woman who started it, Candace, and I always want to say Candace Owens, but her name's not Candace Owens, but she studied under Dolores Cannon. Like, she knew Dolores Cannon, so she's been doing this for, you know, a long time. So anyways, but if you're looking for those kinds of healing, and there is some people who will do that remotely, do those QHHTs, or I don't know. I don't even know all the things that are offered at this point through there. But anyways, so, and Allison Coe is involved with them too. But so, so that is like and that is what it's like. We're programmed. It's like it's inside of us. It's already inside of us. We already know. And so it is, and it is weird. That's what gets to me, is like some of these people who are also scared, you know, is a part of their soul's thing. Like, I don't know that everybody is going to wake up from that, or if they are here creating that experience for themselves, which, you know, I mean, we can all sit there and go like, hell no, I don't want that experience. But you know, they're doing the universe a solid. Like, you know, all experiences matter, so fucking more power to you, warrior. Like, hell no to me. I do not want to go through. I'm so over all of this trauma and shit. I'm way more comfortable in the light. I just am not comfortable in the dark at all. And and I'm comfortable in the dark, but I'm not comfortable in that that just energy of, I swear, my God, I feel like I have a booger hanging on my nose. That is, you know, I'm not comfortable with all the pain and the suffering. And the biggest thing too with pain and suffering to me is ignorance. Because it's just like when you see somebody who they just don't know. And that is what you see, just fucking video after video of the, you know, the people just don't see. You know, and you got all these people who are just scared shitless, but there's the whole quantum thing is gonna be so much about, you know, we are the creators of the reality, but I don't know if this reality has to split apart so that the people who are creating that other one can go and do that one. You know, if that's going to be a thing, like, I don't know, because it truly is just all different realms and shit. Like, none of this is real. This is just like, you know, if we were inside of a giant brain and we are these thoughts popping up, you know, it's not real. We are real. The thought is real, you know, and then we get to come in and play these thoughts out. We get to come in and play out like philosophies of life. You know, what is life? What is life all about? And we come in and we create these storylines so we can experience. And life is fucking complicated. Life is full of lots of emotions, lots of pain, lots of trauma, lots of, you know, growth, lots of sensations, lots of, you know, it's a big thing. So it's got a lot of experiences that are constantly occurring to expand it. So it is but it was just tripping me out how they were explaining how, you know, the people are creating these realities, and how I can see this one that's up ahead, and how I've got to talk about it all the time, and that it pulls, it's like lures the people who are to remember that or something. The ones that are supposed to remember that, it said that they can. It's like it pulls us together. It's like it pulls us together, but that is the creation of the reality. So it's so trippy because you know, it really is like, oh, fuck, it's so if you could see the visuals, like they're show stopping. I'm serious, like, but it's hard to explain them because it's like a light. It's like a light going forward, like this light going forward and having to go, but it starts pulling all these other lights with it. And so it's like it pulls this energy, but you are the creator of where it's pulling and what you pull in with you. So, and I, you know, and I know that the age of Aquarius, you know, it's gonna, but again, it's gonna be all different realities. It's going to be all different realities. I don't, you know, how to explain it. You know, just like, you know, if you lived in Montana, what was going on in Wyoming didn't make much difference. If you lived in this little town, what was going on over in the city didn't make much difference. That's why they had to get a government over us to try and umbrella us. But it was, you know, everybody was just had their own realities, their own things going. So it's going to go back to like very distinct and unique realities. And so it's going to, but there's going to be still a lot of transformation that's going to be occurring through this. It's a lot of hard transformation too, because the people have all forgotten, you know, but it's a part of the experience. They're supposed to feel the impact. They're supposed to feel the pain and the hurt as these people are dying and all this horrible stuff is happening. And there's some horrible stuff that it's so crazy too, how it seems like it just goes from one to another, you know, like the stuff that was going on in Iraq, outrageous, or Iran, I can't even remember now. And they were all of that shit going down. And it was so horrible. And then I think there's been some other ones in between. Then Hawaii, and now this one. And so this horrible stuff, you know, happening to all these kids and all of that. Now it's coming out, so much different stuff coming out on the footage, and that this is a whole bunch of lies going on. I don't know what stuff is the truth and what stuff isn't the truth, but there's a whole lot of lies going on with all the coverage. All of it is, you know, It's like the same thing. It's like trying to show us they walked on the moon. It's like they're just doing the same shit as that they always do. They did it in the crane. They do it over here. Oh yeah, with the crane. But I don't even think there was as much attack on the little ones. And I thought, well, isn't that so strange? The same day in the news, Joe's having this big old barbecue, the same day that they're just beheading little ones. So, those two things go together with that crew. But see how those things start merging in on the news, bringing these stories in together. It's like it's bringing that energy in together. And, I mean, today's the 11th. I don't think any of us got a call. I didn't get any emails about going to the Redemption Center. I get so sick of, it keeps you going because I know it's happening. I know it's going, but it's just like a disappointment. Like, come on. And then you get the people who are all paranoid and they're like, the Fed now starts the 31st. And, so I don't know. To me, that's a threat because to me, the quantum thing is what's going to go. We're going quantum. Like in my reality, the reality I'm creating, we're going quantum. We're going into the future. We're going into freedom. We're going into I'm not going to feed the reality that they are all going to feed. And it just is trippy when you start seeing the focus that you put into the reality that you want is the creating of the reality. And you can't think it just goes super fast, believe me. People think manifesting is quick. Just remember when I went to go make that movie with my brother, and he was, he's trying to make a movie, he's trying to go to work, he's got so much, he's trying to do. And so he was talking to me, about my brain injury and stuff. And he said, well, I wish I'd get a brain injury. And that was when it really got me to be like, fuck, I don't even I sit here whining about all, I've got all my time to do whatever the fuck I want. And I'm sitting here whining about it. It took somebody else to go, fuck, I wish I could have that happen. And that really, got me. But that was in part of my healing. So, that was, I think that was around 2015 because it was the end of 2015, I think. Or I think it was the end of 2015 is when I split with that ex when I got back from making that movie. But also in the brain injury, because somebody was saying something about my eyes, so I got to see something about my eyes too, is, because I've talked about this a bunch of times, but if you haven't seen all the old videos, and but when I got the brain injury, because I went in to get surgery, and the guy, there's just so much scamming and scheming. These doctors are not. They're fucking schemy. They're skeezy people. And people go in and trust them. These people are the fucking skis. They are sleazy motherfuckers. If you have a good one, it's the same as with all of the different things. It is definitely a field that has allowed skeezy. And so this doctor was doing insurance fraud. And so he was trying to do two different things to me. He's the anesthesiologist. So he wanted to get double pay. And so he wanted to do a local, what is that thing called? A spinal for my hysterectomy. And I said, I don't want a spinal. And I had one when I got a C-section, fucking 20, it was horrible. I didn't want another one. And they wouldn't stop. And so finally I just gave in, because that's what I always do. Just give in. Not this Kelly. This Kelly doesn't give in. This Kelly's like, fuck off. So I gave in. I took the fucking thing. So I have me on the table, and they have me rolled up in a ball. And they start doing it. And right away I knew something was wrong, because one of my legs was doing something weird. It's like one leg would all of a sudden, I knew something was wrong. And so, and they're back there, talking. And then they say something about, they asked me a question, and I said, no. I said, something's wrong. This isn't right. Or something, I told them something was wrong. That wasn't right. And then all of a sudden I was knocked out. So they just knocked me out. They didn't even lay me down or anything. They didn't do any of the normal stuff. And so then, so I have no idea, they were obviously fucking up back there. And so they knocked me out. I woke up in the recovery room and I was puking and my mom was sitting there, and then they started wheeling me up to my room. As soon as I got in my room, I started saying, something is wrong. They hurt my shoulder. Something's wrong with my shoulder. And I was asking the girl, and she was just like, well, I don't know. This isn't my floor. I'm just a float. And I was like, well, can you get somebody to come because something's wrong? So that was the start of my fucking nightmare. And it just went on. I had lost all the fluid out of my brain. They had poked he poked 6 or 7 holes back there and could never do it because I had scoliosis. He couldn't get it in the thing. And so, and apparently he was like a student or something, I don't know. And you're not even supposed to go more than 2 times. And he did 6 or 7. Then they never checked it. They never even looked at it. Nobody paid any attention to it. Nobody, it was never passed on in report, nothing. It was just pretended like it never happened. And so that's why it was a huge malpractice cover-up, and the hospital will cover up anything to make sure. So once they had leaked all of the fluid out of my brain, it was the first night, it was all gone. And then I had none for days, and it was the most horrific pain. And nobody was doing anything. They weren't getting me a doctor. They were just leaving me to fucking die, which it's so crazy that I didn't, because my brain was herniating. And usually when your brain herniates, you go to the fucking ICU and you die. And that's why I keep saying, you cannot die, people, unless it's your time. You do not die unless it's your time. I've had so many experiences. I feel positively sure. I can guarantee you that. When it's your time to go, that's when you go. It doesn't matter, you can wear seatbelts, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But nothing is going to save you from the time you go. But anything can happen. And if it's not your time to go, you won't go. So anyways, it was really horrible. It was really, really horrible. And then when I got out of the hospital, it was a whole fucking thing. And it took a year and a half to get the diagnosis of having a brain injury, and I had to go out of the city to even fucking do it. All the doctors, everybody was just gonna cover. It's a good boys club. And it was so crazy. Even the nurse practitioner I was seeing at the time, who was the one who told me to get a lawyer and told me to sue and was the one counting the spots on my back, she went in and testified against me, because then she went to work for one of the conglomerates. She left her own practice because something was funky with her license suddenly. And then she had to go work for some cardiology group. And then all of a sudden she went against me in court. So, their little boys club is some fucking bullshit. And I even saw her at a restaurant after that, and she just pretended like she didn't know me. This was somebody who, like, I could just walk in and say, write me a script for this, write me a script for that, because I was a nurse and she was a nurse practitioner. We were very, very on friendly terms. So, yeah, it was just very strange. But, after about a year or something, it was when I started going to, just go to get my eye appointment thing. And that is when they started telling me that something was wrong with my eyes. And so then I was like, and they started telling me I had some deformity in my eyes. And so I had to start seeing all these specialists. I had to go to eye doctor, specialist. Then they come up with, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We have no idea what's wrong, but you have this deformity. And then it took, I think the first time I heard it, I had already seen 10 doctors. And the first time when one said, oh, you have a brain injury? What happened to your brain? And I told them, and they said, oh, that's what's wrong with your eyes. Is when the fluid all went out, it took it out of your eyes too. So it damaged them. So I all those doctors, I'm telling you, like, trusting these fucking people, no. Oh, no, never again. And so then they started doing their treatments. They're going to fix them. You know, they're gonna save my vision, because I was going to go blind. I was going to be blind, and I've been going blind. And I have the same thing as like glaucoma, and I have already, glaucoma closes your vision in like a tunnel, and I already have vision loss. And you know, and I didn't know about that until I had fallen down a bunch of times, and I didn't understand why I kept falling, because you don't see the ground. Where you see, you think that's where you're walking. It's very trippy. So you have to completely change your conscious. You have to consciously be aware of where you're walking. You have to consciously pay attention to what you're doing when you're walking. Oh, you'll fall down. So anyways, that changed a lot of, you know, my awareness. I had to start being like, oh my gosh. And anything that you change on your awareness or something, your mind is constantly expanding. You are a thought. Just go, 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 go. You're constantly. And that is so right what that guy is saying about that quantum. You know, it's one state of consciousness till you fill it up. And then it's, you know, then you're all over the place. So if I got a big booger hanging on my nose, sorry. It feels like, I don't know, but I can't breathe, that's for sure. So anyways, the quantum reality thing. So if I start, but see, it's programmed into me. And I know I'm not the only one. I know that there's other ones that are start. So it's like, pull the focus, because like, God damn, so many people, like, God, I don't even know how many people there are out there like me, but fuck, I know we're outnumbered. Like, so many more people that are just like, think it's the end of the world. They think it's Armageddon. They think we're all going to end up in 15-minute cities and stuff. And I see it so opposite of that. I see this as like, you know, we're kind of, the visual is, we think of a train going out of control in the car, and it's bouncing and going across and just gets to the edge of the cliff and then turns, and it's like hanging off the edge of the cliff. But then we can get towed back out. But that's how bad it's going to get, is like, it's got to get to this. In it, you know, it's the awakening, it's the shock factor, it's the thinking for yourself. It's like it all goes together. It's this consciousness expansion, and it is the development of self, because then you begin to develop your own reality. But your reality it's inside of you. It's like imprinted. It's like, I didn't create the stuff. It's like, I see pictures. I mean, like, I didn't, you know, just make it up. You know, so it is realized, like, well, I know it's like it's imprinted inside of us. And then it is, but we're creating it. It's like we're creating it, and we're bridging over, which is, you know, apparently something that is different for the changing of the ages, is to bridge one to the other. And so we are, and that's why I say it's like, it has to do with what we're learning through this, through all of this trauma, seeing all the mistakes, seeing all the problems. But, you know, we don't just sit there and be like, well, we've got problems, you know, we've got a diagnosis, we're this, we're that, and give up and be the victim. No, it's like, okay, now I know what I'm working with. Now I know what I got to work on. Now I know what I got to do. And then, you know, you start rebuilding. And so it is, and it's a certain attitude too that goes towards that, you know, and it is a self-assured attitude, but it's that is what I always say. It's like the cedars. It's like this information that comes it's like a pronounced way. It's like it is an important part. It's like the beginning. You know, You know how, like, how through this age, through this period of time, how there was the Bible. However, whatever, you know, everybody had their own religion. But these, you know, they all have their own Bibles. Everybody's got their own Bible. Like, there's the Book of Allah, or the book, you know, there's all these different ones. And so, so it was based on this, like, religion, like whatever our experience was with this, the scenarios that played out. But there was like this where it all began kind of story. And that is what we're creating right now into the story for the new age, is where it all began. You know, all of the horrible war that came in, all of the people that were killed, the mass tragedies, all of these things of where we were led, and how we had gotten there, and how people were so sick, and how we were tested on, like, all of that stuff will be the stories that lead into this future kind of world. It would be the stories that, like, you know, great grandkids would hear, except for we're going to live way longer. It's not going to be the same thing, because we don't have to die if we don't want to die. That has just been a part of this thing. And that's why I'm saying it seems like that when you go up into higher states of consciousness, not in these games like this, into higher vibrations, that we're not on these scripts. We're not on destiny. It's way more free out there when you're just in your energy form. It's like when you go into a storyline, that there's like a parameter, like you have to play your part. And so, you know, and if that is, you know, every word that comes out of your mouth is predestined, I mean, it's all coming from, it's all our process. So, you know, I mean, yeah, it could be everything is like completely, I gotta move around. I'm still totally uncomfortable. So it can totally be it could totally be whatever I was saying. Fuck, I don't fucking know. But this, I gotta talk about this, because this is, was really cool, I thought. So this is some guy, and I know, I don't know what his, deal is on his page. I don't know if what he posts about or anything. But so he had this dream, he said last night. But he said it wasn't a dream. Confirmation. Because it's not dreams. That's the thing. It's like even when I've said, when somebody comes in your dream, it's not like someone's coming into your dream. It's like you're meeting on this other plane of existence, and you're spending time with this person in this other plane of existence. And so it is, it's not like in our minds, like what we think or something. And so it's like our consciousness is in different realms of reality. And so then, so this guy was saying, so he went to bed, and then he all of a sudden felt himself get pulled up out of his body. He went through his roof and went out, and he was in his ship. And he said there was a couple of aliens in there. He didn't say what type or what they look like. And he said it was kind of like you couldn't even really see them. They were kind of looked like energy. And he said, but there was other people that were getting sucked up. So he was with other people. And he said it was kind of like they were going around all over the place, just sucking people up. And then they had like a tour group or something. He said then they took him in a room, and they told him to lay there for and go to sleep. And he said that they laid down, and he said it seemed like 1 second, and all of a sudden they were awake. And he said that him and one other guy was still in there. And so then they woke up, and so then when they went, and this alien, they started taking him on a tour, and they were going from spaceship to spaceship. He said there were so many. He said that there's lots. He said there's big motherships around the earth. that there's all sorts of ships. We got all sorts of ships. But there's also, if you watch the videos of the people who do the sky and stuff, then they have all sorts of cloud ones where it looks like the, what is that called? Shielded or something, where the ships are up there, but they're hidden in the clouds. I've seen some of those out here too. It's trippy looking because you can see like this total perfect shape of a ship sticking out of a cloud. It's weird. And then other ones, it'll just be a cloud shaped like a ship. It's weird. So anyways, I do believe that they are all around us. And so he said that they were in, and then they were kind of split off into a bunch of different groups. And he said, but they were going around to all these different ships, looking like, he said it was like they were getting a tour or something. And he said that when you would go into this one, he said, you went into a room, and it was like the room was a giant, it was like a whole nother reality. And so he was asking him, what is this? And he said, it's like a simulation. It's like the same thing Earth is. And so he said that you would go into one, and it was like simulating like what Earth was like. And so he said it was, you know, like you could go in and be like you're on the beach. And then he went to another ship, and he said it was another one like that, where you just would go in to this simulation room, and you would be like, go into, and you're in Times Square in New York. And so, and they said that that was like, these simulators are like Earth. And so I'm taking it as like, because Earth is also a simulation. And that is that, you know, they can take a little simulation and put it in a room and travel around with it. Like, that is the difference of like where we think we have to be here to experience this. And then they've got it right on their little ships. Just open their bedroom door and go in. That's the thing about the portals and stuff. And he said when he looked out the window, he said there was this giant, giant ring. And he said, what is that? And they said that everybody was going to see soon. I think he said everybody was going to see soon. I have to go back and watch, but that is really coming into my head. And he said everybody will see soon, but it's a big portal. And so I don't know if that, you know, maybe it's going to be something in the sky, a big portal will open. But anyways, he said that, and maybe that's what the sun looks like on the other side. You know, it's just a big portal. He said it was like this big orange spinning going around and around and around. And it could look like to us that it is the sun, but maybe it's really the portal of entry. And so, but it seems to me that they can go in and out of the firmament, and they can see through it. It's a invisible wall, because it's a vibrational. So, and it's these, because we're not real. So it's not really this meat suit and all the stuff that people say. It is, but in order to be birthed into the scenario, the reality, the glove, the avatar, the reality is a certain vibration. So the vibration can't change the reality. I mean, it's going to change. That's what's going to bust it all apart. But the reality had its own vibration. So it doesn't matter what the soul's vibration was. That's the challenge, is going into the low vibration, and how much of yourself can you even recognize or remember, you know? Because it's a big difference when you don't remember yourself from when you do remember yourself. And so, well, I don't know, because I've always remembered myself, so I can't. Like, I've always known I was a soul. So I've always known a lot of stuff, like all the soul stuff, like telepathy, all this stuff that people are just now figuring out. It was like, so I would assume, but but it's not my experience. So, anyways, he was saying that when he was talking to him and stuff, he said it seemed like they just were friends. He said there was nothing that felt scary. He said it seemed like, that he knew him or something. Everything just seemed so nice. And he said it seemed like they were trying to like help, like to let me know we're going to be here soon or something, like to show us what's to come or something. And so I was just thinking about how much closer that could be. Still to me, it seems like the energy over what's about to happen, which is already happening in so many, there's so much happening, but that energy is, to me, is what flips us over, is what flips everything. It's just that things are so bad that just flips everybody. And so that flipping is the energy that's going to, I think, burst the firmament, that's going to open up everything, that would open up that portal. And so, and if the sun is really a portal, which there's all these UFO watcher people who are saying all the time, they see ships going in and out of there all the time. The sun's not hot. It is and I don't think it's like a light either. I think that there's something that has been lied to us about the whole fucking thing. It's obviously it's a goddamn hologram and shit. So, we're a hologram. So, but there's been so much tampering with it. I don't even know. I don't think the thing that they have up there shining down on us is more like a big old fucking LED light bulb, which LED, all these different things, LED damages your eyes, all these chemicals and stuff. And since they had already damaged my eyes, it really interfered with them so much. My eyes were just getting worse and worse. Everything the doctors were doing was making my eyes worse. And I had to completely shut them out. And we were getting where I was having such problems. I was like, fuck, I'm going to be stuck at home just being blind. And from all their goddamn treatments to just keep making it worse. And so, and then when you go ask them about, with glaucoma, about smoking weed, oh, well, you'd have to smoke a lot of weed for it to help. Well, isn't that the whole fucking thing, is why they said that people could start smoking weed was because of glaucoma and cancer? It's like, you guys fucking don't make any goddamn sense. And so then, but once I started doing all of the detoxing and all of those things, my eyes started improving. So, but they're not 100%. They're not 100% back. But I've seen a lot of different people whose eyes were getting worse and they started healing. And a lot of people's eyes are going bad right now because of all of the toxins and the LED lights and stuff. Because everybody, that's affecting our eyes, just like the fucking radiation of the phones. It's making our hair fall out. It's like all this shit that they are giving us, that they're calling as technology and stuff, is all interference. It's all unnatural. It's all artificial, and it interferes with us and it makes us sick. And so there's lots of people who have been figuring out ways to heal your eyes. There's all sorts of things. There's a couple of doctors even who were eye doctors who started going blind and doing all the treatments, and theirs were just getting worse and worse. So they pulled free, and then they developed their own. And it's all herbs. It's all, more oxygen, all things in our body to make us healthier, all the things that we need, yesterday when I went to the grocery store. I love the grocery outlet. If you don't have a grocery outlet, I just love them, because they've always got stuff marked down, but it's like the outlet for like all the expensive, expensive organic foods and stuff, like stuff that's expensive. So you can go and get like maple syrup. Instead of going to Safeway and spending $15, you can go there and get it for $6.99. So you can get all this super expensive stuff for way cheaper at this place. And so, I always get things that I wouldn't normally get. And so I was going down this one aisle because I was looking for something, I don't remember. And it was all these different teas and stuff. And I hadn't because normally I try and stay out of the aisles, because a lot of those aisles are just full of stuff that just it's just astounding when you're walking through, and it's like most of the grocery store is there to kill you. It's like, it's crazy. Confirmation. And so anyways, there was some more of those root things, and I ordered some more of these root powders. So I've got a fucking quite a collection of root powders. And, well, to me it is. And so I didn't have any tea in this one yesterday. I think I had one tea bag split into a couple, but that was throughout the day. But these are all just these root powders and stuff. Matcha is supposed to be really, really good. And it's supposed to, if you have a problem with energy, matcha is way more condensed, I guess, than green tea or something. I don't know. I'm not the expert. Like, you have to go listen to some of these people who can tell you all about this stuff. It's crazy. That's not how my mind works, is to be able to just hold. I used to, when I had a good memory, I could say things, but now it's just like, I don't even fucking, it's like, I don't even want to bother. But there's dandelion root for your heart and stuff. Cayenne pepper also. You should have cayenne pepper on hand, because if you have anything with your heart, if you just take like a little, tiny little, like a little pinky edge, and lick it, it will take you out of a heart attack. And so cayenne pepper is better than baby aspirin or any of that stuff. So the cayenne pepper, I have anyways, but I put that in my kombucha. But in the tea, I got this one yesterday, and I had just heard this girl talking about it, and I don't even know all the stuff about it, but then I saw it sitting there. I was like, well, I gotta get that one. It's like ashwagandha. It's the ashwagandha root. I got mullein. I've got so many different. Some of them come like little flower things. So, and I don't even know all the benefits, but I just add more in, and they're all have got so many benefits of antioxidants and like all sorts of things, but they take time, because that's what I was going to say about my brother. So when my brother had said that, because it takes time to manifest, is as he said, I wish I would get a brain injury. And I knew, I think I even said, don't say that, you'll make it happen. Because I know that's what will. I'm constantly telling people, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm constantly, don't say that. And anyways, and so then, what was it? How many years later? 4 or 5 years later, and there he is getting a brain tumor cut out of his head. And he still has to work. Like, he didn't get to stop working over it. He's still allowed to work. I think mine, maybe because I had to be licensed, and I'd be licensed, and I don't know, I have to deal with life or death, so I couldn't work with a brain injury. But other people, you can work certain jobs, but they couldn't go in and retrain me, because mine affected my memory. So they couldn't go in and say, well, we're going to retrain you into being, because they would have to train me into something where I'd make more money than I did as a nurse. And at the time I was making like $50 an hour. And so they were like, fuck, we don't have anything we can retrain you with a brain injury and make that much money. It's just like, we just don't have it. And so, anyways, they were just like, so you're disabled. That's what you are. And so it was just like, fuck. I was the whole thing. There's like so much stuff I could say like about that, going through that whole thing, and just the whole rejection, the whole identity loss of your profession, especially as a nurse. My whole identity was wrapped up in that, all my friends, everything. So it was just like everything in my whole life just shattered. And I don't know, it was a lot. It was a lot to go through. But I know people do it all the time. I'm not saying poor me, poor me. I'm just saying, it was a lot. There's a lot I could say about it. But you will put things into, you'll make things happen. Just as like what I'm saying is where I keep talking about this future that we're going to have, that is going to be, after the mess, after all of this stuff goes down, because the stuff's going to go down. I mean, we're in it. It's going down. There's nothing, it's not like I'm making it happen. It was like set years ago that we created it years ago. So it is, it's got to play out. So now we're creating where we're going with it. And obviously there's some people who, just see the darkness. But like I said, the universe has room for everybody. They like it all. So, but for me, it focuses on the light. And that is always my focus. And so, and it can get you into trouble, because then it keeps you, because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You don't want somebody else to feel bad. So you end up taking so much on of other people's stuff because you don't want someone else to feel bad. And then you're always putting yourself aside. You're always, you gotta not say that, or you're gonna hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. So you don't ever stand up for yourself. You just keep on, letting everybody stomp all over you. And to me, I've always known like there was a bigger picture. So, it wasn't like I felt like a victim. To me, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was a time. And I'm sure I've had days or weeks where I just felt like a victim, like, why? But always, my guidance always comes in and picks me up out of that and gets me into seeing with rational clarity. Like, so I don't stay stuck ever feeling like, to me, it's always get up and go. Get up and make a change. Do something different. And so, but it's like an attitude. But it's an attitude, that we're here. I don't know. I'm here to share, to help people, because so much of what people hold on to is a false reality anyways. You're all caught up in feeling bad about something that's not even real. So you gotta let go of some of this shit, and then, but in the creation of this new reality where we're going, into freedom, into abundance, into this jubilee. And I saw another thing, and this was a spiritual one too, I think, because this one was talking about, you have these certain people who think we're going into Nisaragosara, and then you have these other people who think all these other things. This was a totally different video too. And it was going through the whole thing. But see, that is, for me, for sure, Nisaragosara. That is the focus. That is the future that I'm bringing in. That's the quantum reality that I'm focused on. That's the quantum reality that I'm going to keep on talking about and get others to focus on. Because we're going to that, if we're the creators of the reality, we're the ones creating it. So, I'm programmed in to talk about it. So I see it. And I know it's to come. And if we are the ones creating it, we all have to just keep seeing it, because we are the ones that become it. We become that reality. And so if you don't want to become a part of that reality, then, you got to go find the reality you're looking for. Because I think that there's other people talking about other realities. And if we're creating realities right now, I just know the reality that I am shown, the one that I'm focused on, it's about freedom. It's about, it's weird because it's like more natural, but it's more technologically sophisticated. So it's like a natural technology. It is like, that's where free energy, that's why we're going to have like the resources and stuff will change. And so the resources will change. We won't be governed. There'll be small, there could be some cities, that they want to have a mayor or committee or whatever. But it's going to be a lot more open, a lot more freedom, a lot less rules by design. it's going to be a lot more of, but see, that's also where you have to have like these expanded souls that don't need to be governed, that don't need to be ruled, that are free and capable of making good decisions, that understand the harmony of nature and the harmony of the universe and the part that they play. That was another thing in one of these videos that I saw too, was it was showing like for consciousness, like this pattern, like we're all this pattern. And then anything that changes in the pattern, one thing changes, it changes the whole entire pattern. And that's what I was trying to say too. I mean, I can see patterns. That's one thing, is I see patterns all the time. But that is what I kept seeing on the road. You know, the road, like on these road trips, we're all like going and we're just all at this pace and we're all going at this certain pace. This energy will just zoom in and just disrupt the whole thing. And that is how it is on all the energies. That is a micro macro, is showing how it works, even though it's by that scenario, it still is representative of how the energy works when it just comes in and it just disrupts. And so there's a harmony to keeping that this action, you know, this movement, and then anything that comes in that disrupts that, it turns it into other directions. It fractals it out, it fractures it, it makes it change. And so you know, and but everything is always in change. There's so much stuff going on. It's like you know, what was that movie called, Tron or something, when he went inside the body, and you know, that's a whole entire universe if you were made small and went inside the body. Like it's you know, there's so much going on. There's just like so much blood going all over the place. Through all these different vessels and all these different organs that rely on this blood to get to them and stuff. Like it's all of this energy that just goes all through the whole universe, that needs this constant. It's a constant, and it relies on the pathways, but it is also you know, disrupted like by disease. That's like what this is, like in the micro macro. This is like diseased. Like we've been living like a diseased life. There's no, it's part of the representation of all the disease and all the different people shows the diseased life that we've been living. It's like everything has been diseased. So then it's like the disease has come to the surface. And so there's so much disease, so much sadness, so much hardship, so much pain, so much distrust, so many people just living in so hard lives, hard times. But it's like the end of that for the people who are going to the age of Aquarius. It's the end of that. It's the taking control of that. It's like, let's clean up this mess. Let's clean it up and let's start over. Let's rearrange the room and let's see what we can do with it. And that is what, it's so funny because that is so much of what I've always been like. Let's rearrange the room. And it's funny too, because that's what my kids are like. It's like, well, I'm feeling this way. Let's just rearrange the room. But it's true. You rearrange things and it changes things. So that's what we're doing on this grand scale, is we're rearrange the room, and then we're going to start over fresh. But it's going to be for the people who are in that kind of mindset. Like I keep saying, there won't be room if you're doing criminal acts and you think that you can just jump right on into the new age. It won't work like that. Something will happen to take you out, because something will just happen, and it's gonna be, you know, I mean, there's tons and tons of shit taking people out nonstop right now. So, you know, and there's no telling what's next. I mean, shit that they got going. As they've got all these cities, that they've got all of these fights that they're trying to start, and they're 100%. They will do that fake out. They'll pretend like it's a bunch of Trump people. They did this last time. They and it's really stupid too, because they'll put on like matching clothes and stuff. It's like, God damn, you're so obvious. But I mean, the people who believe that stuff, they think it's real. So they think that it's and they get the thing so twisted. They've got it so twisted right now on who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And that's the thing, is like, there's not any good guys or bad guys. There's things that need to be worked out. And we have people who don't want us to work things out. They just want to hurry up and do us in. And just like, people don't realize, like, all the cartel, all the gangsters, all the what are those people called? The terrorists, all those are all work for the same person. Who was this? Was just talking about, like, people keep having this keep happening, and they keep being just astounded. And so somebody who goes and commits some really horrible crime, and they just turn around and just let them right back out. It's because that's what they want them to do. That's what they're hired for. They're not meant to sit in jail. Some guy just was like fucking in jail 14 times over the last few days and still is just out there. I don't remember what his last thing they just did. It was so outrageous. I mean, they're doing, but that's what they're there to do. And his might have been to an 11-year-old or something. But then they're like, oh my God, this guy was arrested like 14 times over the last 7 days. And they just kept letting him out. It's just because that's what, it's like their people. The criminals and stuff, like criminals that want to do good and make their lives better are, I don't know, they're swept somewhere else. But the ones who want to just stay criminal and commit crimes for the government and then keep, the government's got their back, like they're covered by government insurance or something, like they're taken care of. So anyways, let me think, because I was going to say also that guy in his dream, he said that he definitely felt like that they were friends. And that is what I had heard before, was there's so many people who are taken up by the aliens. They're taken up by their family and their friends. It's not like, I mean, there's a good reason why that guy felt very comfortable, like he knew him. He said it was weird because he didn't feel scared at all. He felt like he knew him. And he felt like that they were trying to, like, I don't know, let him know if something was coming or something, and that they were prepared. And that makes sense too with all those QHHT things too, where they were saying they're going to take all these people up in ships and people won't even know that they're somewhere if they're going to have all these simulations. Like, it's just you just go in and you're just in another simulation. You just think you're still in where you were, so that people won't even know. Like, we could be on one and not even know. Like, it's so trippy. And it's weird. But because we would know, because it's a state of consciousness. You have to be in a certain state of consciousness to, yeah, if you have awakened more, you would know. So unless, like he said, they just said go to sleep, because that is another thing too. They said that they're going to put all the people like in a stupor, where they're going to kind of be out of it, like they won't, like, kind of just out of it. So I don't know, but it sure seems like everything is getting close. So no matter what, it's got to be getting close. And then the biblical prophecy people are like, and it was like Israel is like the last thing. And I think that they wrote Revelations to let us know like what was to come, as they put that in there. It wasn't like, it's weird when you start hearing all this stuff about the truth behind the Bible and stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. So if they wrote that just to let us know what was to come, and so we're at this part where Israel, it's like we're at the end of all of the stuff. But, it's got a big dramatic ending. there's going to be a lot of bad stuff, but then there's going to still be more storms and stuff. But I'll tell you another thing that is weird. This was a weird one too, is this guy was talking about, he had out a map, and he was saying, when you look at the map, it looks like Russia's huge. And he said Russia's like 6,178 kilometers or something like that. He said, and then look at the map and look at Africa. It looks like it's like a third of the size of Russia. He said it's 7,158 kilometers. It's way bigger than Russia. They're lying on the sizes of places. That Russia is much smaller than what they're putting on there. And Africa is way bigger. I've heard Africa is huge. And so he showed this map of what compared, like of all the places if, by their size. And everything is way, way smaller than what he said. U.S. is way smaller than what we think. And but Africa is way huger. And I had heard too that there's parts of Africa that have never had people that we know of. But that there's a part where they even say that they think they're still dinosaurs. Like I'm sure there's prehistoric parts. I'm sure there's all sorts of realities. Like that's the thing, is once we go past the ice wall, it's going to be the exact same. It's just going to be land mass after land mass after land mass of realities. And then would be all different levels of realities. It just depends on what you want to experience. So it's going to, but I thought that's real interesting. And see how they try and distort it. But, I mean, especially just white Americans, we are such a minority. We are like the fucking golden doodles. Like we are, yeah, all the natural people are, that all have some sort of, that don't have the interference. To me, there's so many things about America. So many things about these incubator babies being put out here, and that they lied about this place. Like, that was why they went in and burned down all those different cities and stuff, because if we would have went around and seen those buildings, we would know that the world was way older than what they were telling us. We would know there was other people who had occupied America before us. I could tell that just going down in Louisiana. You go down there and it's like, this shit is way fucking older than goddamn 200 years old. These people are lying. And so then, and I said that before, and then they're like, well, yeah, but it wasn't a part of America. It was different. And so they do all this distortion, all these lies to us about the history. But that's why they burned down all these fucking cool ass buildings and built on top of them and stuff, because it was going to mess up their storyline. Because then we would know, hey, no way. There's way older. Where are all these people? Like, there's so much manipulation, and there's so much for us to learn about and to get to understand and know. But we are definitely a controlled habitat. We are definitely a science experiment. And it's very multi-level, too. And it is, I saw, I was like, I think an Islam person or something. I don't know what is it. So it's the Jewish, the Muslims, and the Christians that all hate one another because they're all in disagreement over God. So stupid. And so then, I don't know, this guy was saying that this is the main battle. And it's so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. It's so ridiculous. But so whatever, they're going to argue about God to become the end of all of it or whatever, to wipe out the world. So I guess everybody can see God. I don't know. But the whole thing is that while they are, something was coming into my head. Hold on. While they are is this girl? What is this girl? So this, this guy, okay, it was a philosophy thing. So it's like these different philosophies, but it is the people have to come together in acceptance. It's like, yeah, you can, like, you love your God the way you want to love your God. You love your God the way you want to love your God. You love your God the way you want to love your God. And let's all come together and just love our gods the way we all want to love our gods. Worship our gods the way we want to worship our gods. Why do we feel like we need to go into someone else's house and tell them what they need to eat for dinner, what they need to do with their time, who they need to worship, or any of that stuff? It is unnecessary, and it is volatile, and it is controlling, and there's no reason for it. The part of the journey is acceptance, accepting other people's beliefs, not feeling like people have to believe like you. It was once you start getting into people have to believe like you start getting into ego. Why do people have to believe what you believe? What is the problem? Why can't everybody just believe what they want to believe? Why do we have to try and control someone's beliefs, someone's thoughts, someone's own representation of what they believe their God is, where they came from? There is no, set book. I mean, to me, if I'm going to go back to any book, I would go to the Sumerian tablets. Like anything that you want to start, go to tablets. Like, to me, like, I'm not going to, once it's gone through printing and editing and translation, no thanks. And so anyways, but, we've got to get to this point of allowing everyone to just be themselves. That is the coming together in these different philosophies. And so I don't know if it would be like, as this is going, that, if there's a certain group that just stays in this, like everybody has to think like us, that whole group won't just go. It'll just be like poof, gone. And I still, man, it's really, like, I'm not saying anything mean towards the Jewish people. Like, I know this is a bunch of bullshit, and they're just as caught up in the fucking bullshit as we are. And there's nothing that they can do about it. They're not the extremists. They're not the fucking Finkelsteins. They're not the ones that are out there fucking selling goddamn diamonds and fucking shit. I saw somebody was talking about this Kate Spade history. And I didn't know this part, that when she went and opened up her plant in Africa, that all of a sudden there was this huge thing that happened there, and 800 people were slaughtered, and their bodies just disappeared. Bodies just disappeared. I don't even know if this is just made up shit at this point. Like, how do you even fucking know? Like, this is so outrageous. And then just coincidentally, after I heard that, I'm at the thrift store yesterday, and there I see a fucking Kate Spade purse. And I was like, what is the chances of that? Well, maybe I should get it and go have it tested. And, but it was $25. And I was like, well, fuck. No. I mean, I know they're doing this horrible stuff. Like, I don't know how many of her purses would be and how many of them wouldn't be, and how, like, fuck. And maybe that is why, she ended up at the end of a red necktie, because she wasn't in on it. I don't fucking know. This stuff is so disturbing. Like, I don't know how you can hear this stuff and know this stuff and not feel disturbed, not feel just sad and sick. Just like, they just kill people, just use them for their skins, use them for the food, use them for, it's just like so disturbing, man. And all the people, like, it's one thing if we all knew, but just think of, it's like we're deers for them, just, it's the same thing. They just look at us like we're just animals. And people look at animals like they're just animals, and they go cut them up and, confirmation, eat them, take their skins. So for them to do that to us, when they look at us like animals, it's just like, and then what do they do with the livestock? They fucking feed them their own dead. The same thing they do to us. So, it's like, you just got to let go of it. It's like, well, we do it, what's below us. It's just like this fucking step down. And we got to get to the point that we're not doing it. We're not just consuming others' energy. We're not just taking from other people. But that's why this place has become like a disease. But it's got to be healed. That's why so much light came in to heal this disease. And that is taking us in a new direction. But it was always written. It was always going to go that way. So it's not like anything is happening that wasn't supposed to happen. It's the way it's supposed to happen. I just found it interesting when that guy was saying that, you know, these energies are creating realities. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, I'm always talking about this, but it's not like my idea. It's like it's inside me. It's like what they keep showing me. But I'm like creating a reality. I'm talking it into existence. I'm telling people about it. I'm giving it form. I'm putting it in other people's minds. Like we're literally creating a reality. And we got to take it serious. Seriously. We got to take this serious. So we got to be defined about it. You know, it's going to be beautiful. We're all going to look good. We're all going to feel good. There's not going to be poison. There's going to be cool-ass houses, all sorts of cool-ass houses. There's going to be all sorts of different places to get to go and see, all sorts of experiences to get to go and learn about our history and the past, all sorts of experiences to be able to leave and go to other lands and other places and meet other people and other beings and stuff. So it's going to be fantastic, if you ask me. I can see it. So I'm going to keep on talking it into existence. I'm going to keep talking about it and keep drawing it out. And you guys draw it out too. Draw it out and you picture it as what you want it to be, because we're creating it. We're making it into a real thing. And it'll take a couple years. It takes a couple years. Don't forget that. It's not like magic. We're pulling out from the darkness. We're sucking everything from the darkness and turning it into light. We're going to, it is going to become better. Everything's going to become better. And so that's the reality that I'm here for. Anything else is like, even though, you know, this is horrible. It's horrible to watch. It's horrible to see. It's horrible to experience. And I feel horrible for all the different things happening for all the different people. But things are going to get better. And we really do have to be rational about this and realize, like, this really is a movie. It's really a hologram. This isn't real life. This is just an experience that your soul is having. I don't know, because it's bored and it wants to learn. So, or it's a warrior and it wants to play its part. Whatever it is, that's what's going on. This isn't real life. It's just so weird because so many people think this is real life. And I don't know, it's just like, I'm always seeing this pulling free from that reality, is pulling. And as you pull, it's like separates you to where you realize like you're so much more than what you were. So anyways, we'll see what today holds. We don't have any idea. Each day is like, and I'm telling you, the planes going overhead has increased so much. The darkness outside, it's so cold, it's so rainy. It was supposed to be this big storm that was going to hit. And I was even thinking like, bug. I still say, I mean, it was almost like the map that he was showing almost was like the doomsday map. And I was like, maybe that is the big change on the map. Maybe it is just that we just all of a sudden realized that it wasn't what we were told. Maybe all of California is not going to fall off. We're just going to find out that it was never there. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible, seriously. Like anything. So, like, you just go with this day. It's like anything is possible. Let's just see what the day brings. And just stay positive. Keep remembering, like, you really are creating your reality. So you want to stay focused on what it is you want. Not the things you don't want. Not the things you fear. Not the things you're scared of. Keep your mind, like a hummingbird going around the little feeder. Keep your mind going around what you want. Just keep going around what you want. Anything that comes in of a fear or whatever, you can process it. It depends on how rational and how much you have to give energy to it. But then, go back to what it is you want. Because we don't want what's going on. We don't want this. None of us want this. None of us want to watch people be slaughtered and just the trauma and the fear and there's so many people just so beat down and everything. So I just heard another thing that I thought was kind of interesting too, because this woman said that the everyone born after, and I don't know how she would know this, but she said everyone born after 1987 is no karma. They were born with no karma. They were coming into the experience with no karma, because it's this, because it's this, all this bridging is like the experiences that we went through as humans. That experience is over. We're just in the part where everybody's got to let go of it, but the experience is over and we're going into a new one. But it's very traumatic, watching how it has to go down. Very traumatic. So anyways, just keep staying safe and keep working on you. And if there is stuff, I will talk more about, if there is something. Somebody had told me that there's a couple people who have said, that just happened to find something that I was talking about right at a day they were going through it. So any of this stuff, I can spend more time talking about certain topics. So just, drop it in the comments and say, when you talk more about this or that, whatever. And again, today, whatever they're doing with the downloading, I don't know. I've got, it's out of my control. And even if I tried to just do live so that they would be on there, it would interfere with the downloading, because my downloading would get backed up, because my downloading won't go. That already, for a live, already was taking 12 hours to download. And so if another one comes on behind that, see, that just slows it all down. So I don't know. They're just doing something to interfere with it. So they're just holding these downloads back for me now for like 12 hours. And then they're holding it back for the people to try and watch the videos. But don't get frustrated. Just remember, it's not anything, you can still hear it tomorrow or the next day. And if you just really need to have one in the morning to watch, there's lots of old ones. Even if I'm talking about the current events that are happening right then, there's still, I think every single one I'm talking about healing and perspective and ways to improve your life. So I think they all have kind of the same kind of thing. So anyways, Vortex knows, she's been watching me a long time, so she can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I've lost track of, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm just a fractal of a whole bunch of me's. I don't even know. I'm just talking. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just talking. So anyways, I'm just going to go talk to Stella, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.